I'm 4 weeks into my cut, just got back from training, and I'm sitting at around 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day, and I genuinely don't feel like I'm dieting. And if you've ever thought getting lean meant eating bland, boring food, this is going to change how you think about that completely. And today, I'm going to talk you through exactly what I eat to get to 10% body fat, the exact meals, the exact calories, and the one thing that stops most people even getting there. Plus, I've got a client story which I think will hit home if you've ever felt stuck in the middle. Not quite lean enough, not quite muscular enough, stuck in that awkward skinny fat zone. I've been training for 14 years, got a 10% body fat loads of times, and this is exactly what works, and I'm going to show you it throughout this video. And the first thing might surprise you because it has nothing to do with what you eat, but before we delve into that, the first meal is my notorious protein oat. If you saw my video a few weeks ago, it was my exact breakfast to hit 10% body fat. It only takes 2 minutes to do, and as you'll know from that video, I eat these every day and I have done for the last 5 years. I'm going to put the calories on the screen here, a breakdown of exactly what's included so that you can have it as well and you can try it out. And the reason I have it every day is 1, it's convenient, 2, it's bloody tasty, and 3, it helps me stay full for a good few hours up until lunchtime. And today is Saturday, currently 8:30 in the morning. As I've said, I've just trained, so I want something to fuel me up straight away. I often train fasted as well because I much prefer training in the mornings. So usually I'll train early, then have my food. For the rest of the day, well, you'll have to wait and see to find that out of exactly what I have, because I'm gonna have a few meals I don't usually have, but I think will be really beneficial for you if you're trying to get a 10% body fat. You can actually get lean without eating the same things all the time. So I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to delve into the first point of the video, which I can almost guarantee is going to make you think a little bit differently about the goals you set out to be able to achieve 10% body fat and actually get lean, see your abs, etc. So let's delve into that. Okay, so something I want to talk about while you're looking at my physique update and looking at some of my training shots from this morning is about setting vague goals which are completely keeping you stuck from actually achieving them. So about 10 years ago, I was training consistently. I was eating reasonably well, doing everything I thought I was supposed to be doing. But if you asked me what my goal was, I would have said something like, I just want to feel a bit better. I just want to look good. I want to be in half decent shape. And sounds reasonable, right? Well, here's the problem with that. You can never hit a target you haven't really defined. And when your goal is to just look good, how do you actually know when you get there? How do you know if what you're doing is actually working? How do you know what to change when it's not? You don't. And that's exactly why I stayed in the same place for longer than I wanted to. And if you're in this situation, I want you to actually get quicker results than I did. So what changed for me came when I stopped saying I wanted to look good and I started saying I want to see my abs, for example. I want to set a specific body weight target, something tangible. Suddenly, I had something I could actually measure, something I could build a plan around, something that told me week to week whether I was actually moving in the right direction. So many people, and I've seen it with clients as well, they come to me and say, oh, I just wanted to look a bit better. And I get that. I know that is a goal and it is for me as well. But once we actually set some tangible metrics, a specific goal, it changes everything. And that one change made more difference than any program or diet I've ever tried. Because for the first time, I actually knew what I was working towards. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because there's one specific type of person this hits hardest. And I've actually got a story later that I think is going to sound very familiar. Okay, it is 12:30 and it's lunchtime, which means we're having some gnocchi today. This is actually cooked up from last night and I'm reheating it. And I'm going to put the calories on the screen. I don't usually have gnocchi, but it was absolutely delicious. And it's with half-fat pork sausages from Tesco. We've got some tomato and mascarpone sauce and a little bit of parmesan as well. So we're going to cook this up and I'm going to tell you what a vague goal actually looks like in practice, because I've seen it hundreds of times over the last 11 years or so, and why it's stopping you from actually getting to 10% body fat and seeing your abs. Also, is gnocchi technically pasta or is it potato? I know most people say it's pasta, but I would lean more towards that it's potato. It's filling, bloody tasty, but it's not really the traditional way you do a pasta, is it? Anyway, this is approximately, again, I'm going to put it on the screen, but from what I know, it's around 600 to 700 calories this, and I'm going to show you my dinner later. Again, it's a really good Saturday night one, keeps the calories down, and is something which I can almost guarantee you'll love as well, so make sure you stay around for that one. So here we have it. Here is lunch. Gnocchi, half-fat sausages, a little bit of parmesan and tomato and mascarpone sauce. Again, you're looking at around 600 to 700 calories here. This is perfect for me. It'll keep me full until late this evening. And another really good hack, if you want to feel fuller for longer, is to have Diet Cokes, or more specifically, Pepsi Max. And If you prefer Diet Coke over Pepsi Max, I want you to stop watching this video and have a long, hard look at yourself, because Pepsi Max is way better, especially the caffeine-free one, because you don't want to have caffeine too late in the day. But the main point I want to make is, what is a vague goal? What it actually looks like in real life. So I want to talk about Sam, who was my client a few years ago, and his story is probably the best example of what I was talking about earlier. So when Sam came to me, I asked him what his goal was, and he said exactly what most people say, which is they just want to look decent. They want to fill out a t-shirt. They want to feel more comfortable with my top off when I'm on holiday, when I'm with my missus or with my mates. Nothing crazy, nothing mad. And I get that. And it sounds reasonable, but here's the problem with that. That's more of a feeling. It's nothing tangible, and you can't build a plan around more of a feeling without having something tangible to work towards. Because when I asked him how he'd know when he'd actually got there, he had no answer. When I asked him whether what he was currently doing was working, he had no idea if it was working or not. Like most people, he'd been going to the gym sporadically for a couple of years, no real structure to it, no real progressive overload applied to his lifts in the gym, and he couldn't tell me whether he was making progress or not, because he never defined what progress actually looked like. And that's the thing about most vague goals. They don't just make it hard to get results, they make it almost impossible to even know if you're getting anywhere closer to the result, because you don't have that tangible side. So you just keep going or you stop, and either way nothing really changes. And the moment that shifted for Sam was when I pushed him to be more specific on exactly what he wanted to achieve. Not like being a bodybuilder and doing some type of bodybuilding show. He just wanted to see his abs specifically for his Ibiza trip. He wanted to put on a bit of size. He wanted to feel like himself in photos rather than sucking in his stomach. And because he had that classic skinny fat physique, I'm sure some people watching this will have that too. He wanted to stop deleting half his camera roll after every holiday. He wanted to look at photos and feel like he could put them up on Instagram and feel good about it. And now I've got something to work with. Now I can build a plan that can actually point at something more tangible, and I can work a plan around that. So for him, like most people, it's 3 full body sessions a week, progressive overload built in, enough protein, a moderate deficit, eating stuff like this, and enough flexibility that he wasn't pulling Tupperware out of his jacket on a night out with his mate. Because let me tell you something, he loves a festival and a trip away, and he wasn't going to be doing that. Although, as I said to him, you do need a phase where you need to be a bit stricter to get down to 10% body fat. As you can see the photos on the screen, he made a good amount of change. Again, this is in quite a short period of time as well, and he was in that skinny fat shape where you've got to decide whether you want to actually drop fat first or bulk after that. And for the first time, he actually knew where he was heading, because he had something tangible to work towards. And that's really the whole point, which is what I want to leave you with before the end of today. I want you to know specifically what you are aiming towards, not just feel a bit better and look a little bit better. How specifically do you want to look? Is it you want to see your abs? Well, that's great, because that can be tangible. I want to get down to 70 kg when I'm now 80 kg. Again, something tangible to work towards. And it makes a massive difference, especially if your goal, I'm assuming if you're watching this, is to drop body fat, get close to 10%, have a plan, but also have a specific tangible goal. Enough of that. I'm going to have my gnocchi, and then I'm going to show you the dinner which I'm going to have, which again is going to be a game changer. I'd highly recommend it. And then I'm going to tell you how you can actually define your goal so that you can break it down really easily yourself, and you can almost guarantee that you actually get there. Quick one, if you're sick of spending hours in the gym, you're sick of overcomplicated advice, you don't really know what program to follow which is best for you to actually get lean, then I've got a completely free 4-week soft to lean program linked in the description. Here it is as a quick preview. So all you need to do is file, make a copy, and then the tabs down the bottom, you've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, progress tracker, and how to use. Again, it's completely free. If you want to get lean, in the pinned comment or the description. So it's coming up to 5:30 and we're sorting out some dinner. And dinner is going to be sweet potato fries, as you can probably see here, some turkey burgers with a lot of veg, because I've noticed when I've thought about my day up to now, I haven't really had much fruit or veg. Usually I do, but we're having sweet potato fries with a lot of spinach and maybe a bit of peas as well. I'll decide. As you can see, there are a lot of sweet potatoes here. I'm not going to be having all of these, but I have noticed that I do have quite a lot of carbs left for the day and a good bit of calories compared to what I thought I would have. So when I've checked my diary there, my fitness pal, if I had my normal portion of chips, I probably would have only ended up on like 2,100 calories for the day. And although I am trying to drop body fat and trying to get close to or under 10%, I still don't want to be losing too much muscle and too much strength. So that means I can have more chips and I can have more food. And why would I not want to do that, especially on a Saturday night? And I also realised that if you watch my last full day of eating, I also had sweet potato fries. I promise that I do mix it up from time to time. A hack which I've found, which works amazingly well, which I did on the last video as well, and it's been working ever since, is put all sweet potato fries in a bowl, salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil, which I do track by the way in MyFitnessPal, and then they go in the air fryer, and oh, they are spot on. And I'll have 2 turkey burgers, one in the bun, which is just a plain brioche bun, and then obviously a load of veg. And when I'm in a gaining phase where I want to gain weight, I'll actually have 2 burgers with 2 buns as well, just to get a bit more carbs in, as well as the fries and then the veg. But for me personally, I'd rather have more fries than I would have the extra bun. So this dinner is going to be, I will put it on screen, but is going to be more towards 1,000 calories. If you're someone who doesn't have many calories to play with, or you just want to make this dinner a little bit less calories, definitely have more towards the 200 to 250 grams of sweet potato, whereas I'm going to be having more towards 450, give or take, depending on how I feel and how much I can actually fit in. And one really important thing to do is bloody weigh stuff, especially when you have an oil. If I wasn't weighing this oil, I could be having a lot more than I thought I was having, and that's going to add potentially hundreds of calories. 8 grams. Look, that was 10, but it's okay. 10 grams of oil. Give it the old mixer in the bowl. I want to make sure that all the oil and the salt and vinegar are on the chips. And as I said, that really does make a difference for these sweet potato fries. And these are the burgers. They're just Tesco turkey burgers. They're not beef burgers. Again, this is purely because they're leaner. One burger is 160 calories, 5 grams of fat, and around 26 grams of protein. So if you want to keep the calories down a little bit, as opposed to having a full fat beef burger, I'd recommend those. Both of these will go in the air fryer, and then obviously I've got the veg as well. So I'm going to get on with that. But before we do that, I really want to tell you exactly how around 10 years ago, I didn't really have a goal to aim for, and how it really affected my progress. And I'm almost certain you've been in this position as well. Because I think where I'm at right now sums up everything I'm talking about throughout this video. So at the start of this year, I picked up a shoulder injury, and it kept me out for a good few months. I was still training, but it was definitely compromised. I was definitely not able to push myself in the gym as much as I have been wanting to. And around 6 weeks ago, when it was starting to feel a little bit better, I could have just said, right, I want to get back in shape, and cracked on. And that's what I would have done a few years ago, but this is where a lot of people, and myself included, can go wrong a little bit. So instead, what I've done is I've got specific. I've put a tangible goal on exactly what I want to achieve, and I've said I want to get to 10% body fat or leaner by summer. I want to be in the best shape I've been in for the last 5 or 6 years, preferably best shape I've been in before COVID. And I want to do it on 3 full body sessions per week, which are all less than an hour, because that's what fits my life right now. And because I've got specific on exactly what I want to achieve, everything else around my life fits this one goal. So for example, today's full day of eating, all the meals which you're seeing, everything is going towards this goal. The 3 full body sessions make sense because I know on any given week, I can do this. It fits around my schedule. There's no compromise I have to make, really. And that's really what this video is about. I want to show you that it's not about the specific meals. It's not about the specific foods within the meal. And it's not even about the specific calories either. It's that everything I'm doing, this full day of eating, all the meals, all push me towards my goal of being towards 10% body fat or lower. I have a tangible goal I'm working towards. And your version might look completely different to mine or Sam's, my client, who I mentioned earlier. But whatever your goal is, get specific. Put tangible metrics on it, write it down, and build everything around it. So your training, your nutrition, and everything else. And as I've mentioned earlier in the video, if you don't know what to do, download my completely free 4-week Softer Lean program. Because vague goals get vague results, and you've probably had vague goals for long enough. So the challenge I want you to do is set a specific tangible goal, whether it's over 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, or even 6 months. And on that note, I want to show you what my dinner looks like, because for a Saturday night, it's spot on. It's one of my favourite. As I said, you're looking at around 800 to 1,000 calories here. I have a lot more sweet potato than I originally planned. And for you, I probably wouldn't recommend having that much. Although I've probably got around 400 grams there, I'd recommend, and I usually have around 250 grams if I want to keep the calories down. But I had some to play with. So I'm looking at around just over 2,400 calories for the whole day, which for me is spot on for my current goals of dropping to that just under 10% body fat by summer. I'm being really consistent at the moment, and the body fat's coming down, and I feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in all year, and it's only going to get better. And if you want to know exactly what I eat every single morning to start the day right, and the breakfast that I've had pretty much every day for the last 5 to 6 years, and has played a massive part in getting down to 10% body fat multiple times, then click this video somewhere over here. It'll show you the exact ingredients. It's really easy, and it only takes 2 minutes.